Hello, I hope you are doing well, and as usual, I hope you have practiced the given items before deciding to start the next session. In the continuation, let's talk about the other tools in Viewpoint tab. So let's start with the camera. First of all, here as you can see, we got field of view. Field of view defines the area of the scene that can be viewed through the camera, and for the current viewpoint, you can move the field of view slider on the ribbon to adjust the horizontal field of view. When you modify the horizontal field of view, the vertical field of view is automatically adjusted, and vice versa to match the aspect ratio in Autodesk Navisworks. Or you can choose orthographic mode, where all objects appear to be the same size regardless of their distance from the camera. And note that orthographic cameras are not available with walk and fly navigation tools, because during walking and flying we can't use the orthographic mode. So right now, if I click on walk, the camera view would be changed automatically to perspective, and as you can see, the orthographic is not available by this way. And when we move the camera to up and down by this way, as you can see, the related tool is tilt window, that we can use tilt window to rotate the camera up and down. So when you scroll up and down, check this out, you are using tilt window to rotate the camera up and down. Very well, but about the align camera, here we can align the camera to one of the axes. For example, aligning with x-axis toggles between front and back face views. By this way, as you can see, aligning with x-axis, or in aligning with y-axis toggles between left and right face views, and aligning with z-axis toggles between top and bottom face views. So if we got a view of the camera from the top, as you can see, however, we can use orbit tool, check this out, to modify the angle of the camera or rotating the camera, and then assign a specific view for your camera. And straighten, as you can see, aligns the camera with the viewpoint up vector, and it could be very functional in your projects. For example, when you're looking at your project from the top, or even when you move downwards, for example like this. At this viewpoint, the vertical lines in our perspective view are not remained vertical. And as you know, when the height of the camera and also the height of the target which camera is focused on are not equal to each other, you need to straighten the camera to align with the viewpoint up the vector. And when the camera position is close to the viewpoint up vector, you can use this function to snap the camera to the appropriate axis. And right now here, if I click on straighten, after that the camera will be straightened to align with the viewpoint up the vector. And continue, let me again adjust another view for the camera. And as you can see, at this perspective, the three axes, X, Y, and Z are engaged. Or if I move downwards, or adjusting or aligning the camera in whatever angles, you can use straighten to straighten the camera to align with the viewpoint up vector in the 3D workspace. By this way, as you can see. However, we got some tools used for navigating, which are found in steering wheels. But here, if I open the menu, as you can see, we got some options. For example, full navigation, basic view object. For example, the big full navigation wheel widgets have the following options: zoom, rewind, pan, orbit, center, walk, look, up and down. As you can see, so that you can save your time by combining many of the common navigation tools into a single interface, and wheels are specific to the context from which a model is being viewed. As you use the navigation tools to reorient the view of the model, the previous view is saved to the navigation history, and the navigation history holds a representation of the previous views of the model along with a thumbnail. A separate navigation history is maintained for each window. It is not maintained after the window is closed. And actually, I consider Rewind as one of the most functional tools. However, you are familiar with the rest of the tools, for example up and down, or pan, check this out, or we can hold down the control while walking. So these are the options and features which are related to the camera. But the next part I'm going to talk about saving viewpoints. For example, you have adjusted some views out of your scene, and then you want to save them in order to just have access to them instantly. For example, if I want to save this view of the camera of the scene, I click on save viewpoint. After that, in the window of saved viewpoints, I assign a name for it. For example, I can specify entrance, because the image or the viewpoint refers to the entrance of the model. Let me minimize the window. After that, I select or I adjust the camera to save another viewpoint. Then I click on save viewpoint. Then I assign the name and then I assign it as my east elevation. You can customize your viewpoints here and save whatever you want. And after saving some viewpoints, if I click on the saved viewpoints, then I will have access to the adjusted views, as you can see. And after having access to the viewpoint, you can keep on navigating in your scene by this way. So for example, I save another viewpoint as my north elevation. So let me assign the name of the viewpoint by this way. Then I click on it to open the viewpoint. After that, I activate VOC. Then I move on. It means that the viewpoint is not saved as an image, but also as a fixed camera in a specific position actually, that we can move on walking and navigating in the scene after having access to the saved viewpoint. But if just in case the window of saved viewpoints was cancelled, you can find it by just clicking on saved viewpoints dialog launcher. Then the window would be appeared at the right side of the scene, or even you can open unsaved viewpoints and then click on manage save viewpoints to open the window of saved viewpoints. By this way, I close it again. Very well. Let's talk about the next item. The next topic which I'm gonna talk about is sectioning, which is found in Viewpoint tab. So as you know, we covered the saved viewpoints and also the camera, navigation, render style, but the sectioning is left, as you can see. Sectioning functions samely as section box in Autodesk Revit. But right now you may ask from yourself that what is the necessity of existing enable sectioning here? Meanwhile, we can have access to the section box in Revit. I should say that Navis reduces the largeness and complexity of the scene. And following that, you will see that when you are in Navis, that you can use sectioning in your model geometry simply and quickly. So this would be easier than using section box in Revit. Very well, and continue. I'm gonna enable sectioning here. So if I click on it, check this out, and it creates cross-section of your model in a 3D workspace. And as you know, a cross-section is a cutaway view of the 3D object that enables you to see inside it. And right now, as you can see, planes mode is activated, which allows us to make up to 6 sectional cuts in any plane while still being able to navigate around the scene. And right now in the list, you can see the 6 sectional cuts that are created by default through the center of the visible area of the model. So planes mode allows us to make up to 6 sectional cuts in any plane while still being able to navigate around the scene. And we are also able to adjust the alignment, for example top, to align the current section plane to the top of the model, or for example front, check this out, and other views, for example back, right, left. And actually, after adjusting the alignment of the sectioning, here you got move tool, which moves the current section plane or section box with the translation gizmo. And right now, as you can see the gizmo, you can hold your mouse by this way, and when it turned yellow, you can move it. Check this out. And as you can see how quickly it cuts, while such a speed is not available in Autodesk Revit because Navis reduces the largeness and complexity of the file. And here you can use move to move the current section plane or section box with the translation gizmo. And you got rotate as well. You hold your mouse on the gizmo, then you can rotate it when it turned yellow. Look, and I could move it as well by this way. So you got tools move and rotate to transform your plane in order to have a convenient section view. And after now adjusting the transformation, you can reset the adjustment. You can align it to left, for example, in this way. Then the changes would be reset. And after that, again, you can use move to transform the plane by this way. And right now, if you agree, I want to add one more plane and then cut away the model geometry from the top. So to do this, I open the planes. After that, I select plane 2 by this way, as you can see, plane 2. Then I align the adjustment top. After that, I click on move. After that, I move the plane upward. Check this out. Right now in this scene we got two planes, one top and the another one is left, which are cutting away the model geometry. And you're also able to disable one of the planes. So I turn off plane 1. Check this out. You can enable and disable the planes by switching them on and off. And as I told you, you can have up to 6 sectional cuts, as you can see in the current planes. For instance, one of the functions that I can exemplify or talk about from the sectioning actually is that to, for example, just moving the plane in a manner that to just display the first level and also the floor. Let's check it out. For example, I put the plane right here. After that, I click on Save Point, Viewpoint, to consider this view as the level 0. Again, I enable Move. Then I move the plane upwards in order to display the first level. Then I click on Save Viewpoint. I assign the name as the first level or level 1. I keep going up to level 2. Check this out. You can use Move to display each levels in sectioning. So this would be very professional in your presentations among your clients and employers, since you got several viewpoints out of your different kinds of details of the project, for example from each levels. Or for example, here I got some ramps that I want to display them so that there is no need to use walk or the third person, because here we got a save viewpoint by using sectioning, which shows the details very well. So first of all, I choose my plane, for example plane 2, I turn it off by this way, then I keep plane 1, then I adjust the alignment left. Let's check it out. For example, I want to present the ramps or stairs, so let me move the plane a little bit in order to adjust it to have a better view. By this way I move it. Let me check. For example, here I want to display or present these stairs or ramps. So after sectioning, I adjust the position of the camera, then I save the convenient viewpoint. Then I assign the name, ramp for example, by this way. So right now, as you can see, the cutaway view of the 3D object enables us to see inside of the model. And after that, we can keep on talking about the details, important points, which attracts the attention of your employer or your clients by just saving the viewpoint, whether using sectioning or not. And after that, you can navigate in the scene. As I told you before, by using planes mode, we are still able to navigate around the scene. And we can see the inside models without hiding any item. And then you can instantly switch between the viewpoints and have an informative presentation. So saving viewpoints is a very important tool that lets you to save your viewpoints to display all the elements that are required to be explained. So in the process of saving, you may need to use sectioning, since some of the details are inside the objects and some are not, and then you can have your presentation. Actually, in sectioning, we can modify the mode of the sectioning. Here, if I open planes, we got box, as you can see. Box mode enables you to focus your review on a specific and limited areas of the model. And as you move the box around, only the geometry within the defined section box is displayed in the scene view. And you got a scale to resize the section box with the scale gizmo, which is available only in section box. Check this out. In this way you can control the size of the box by this way. Then I click on move to select the tool. I move the box by this way in order to focus on a specific and limited areas of the model by this way. But if you choose planes as mode, a scale is not available, while it is available in box mode in order to resize the size of the box. Check this out. I move it by this way, then I use a scale to modify the size of the box so that we can adjust the position, rotation and size of the box, and then save the current viewpoint. And after that, you can submit your presentation while focusing the review on a specific and limited areas of the model. And note that, unlike section box in Revit, if you disable the sectioning by this way and then enable it again, it won't be reset, since right now the section settings are saved, I mean the position, rotation, size, so the recent changes are saved here. In continue, I'm going to talk about the other items here. For example, let me at first select the planes mode, and after that I choose move tool. to modify the position of the plane in order to cover all of the model. Suppose that right now I want to align the plane with this curved wall, so we may have some challenges in moving, rotating. I open the alignment. Here we got an option named Align to Surface that aligns the current section plane to the selected surface. So if I click on it, after that I should select a surface. Then you will see the plane would be aligned with the selected surface. Check this out. Then I use move by this way, and then I move the plane. Again, I open the alignment, align to surface. I choose another surface, and here as you can see we are using the custom alignment. Since none of the default alignments are being used, or is being used actually, I keep on going to talk about other items. I move these. The next item is align to view. Supposing that I am looking at the project from the top view like this way, then if I open the alignment, I choose align to view, then the plane would be aligned with the angle of the view of camera, or the viewpoint of the camera. So if I change my position in the scene, then in continue I click on align to view. Check this out. Then the plane would be aligned with the viewpoint of the camera. So we got a new section view, and you got also align to line, which aligns the current section plane to the selected line. No, which is not that much functional. And the last topic or item that I want to talk about is fit selection. Actually, it is similar to the alignment, but somehow different. To elaborate the fit selection, suppose that I select one of the walls. For instance, I select this wall, then I click on fit selection. So this would moves the active section plane or section box to the boundary of the item selected in the scene view or on the selection tree. And right now, as you can see, the direction of the plane is not changed, but it is just getting close to the selected surface to be fit with it. Let me try for one more time. For example, left alignment, and then I move the plane by this way. After that, I select this wall. Look at here. Then I want to click on fit selection. After that, the plane would get close to the wall, but the direction is not changed. And in order to give you another example, I rotate the plane by this way. Meanwhile, the wall is selected. I click on fit selection. Check this out. As you can see, the distance between the selected wall and the plane is minimized, but they are not aligned. But the plane is just moving to getting close to the selected wall. And this tool has its own functions actually. And we are finished with this session. So don't forget to practice these items and then continue the videos. And in the next session, we're gonna talk about animating. That before that, you should have learned these items. So taking a short time for practicing these items would help you to have a better understanding in other sessions. See you later.